Alright, hey there everyone. I'm going to talk about some of the lessons I've learned working at YouTube. My name's Harnish. I'm a Flash programmer dude. I make video applications for cat enthusiasts. You're going to find this presentation with the link on the bottom left there. I started pretty recently. In the timeline of the Flash player, I'm down here towards the bottom of the strata, where we have a menu button at the end, and things are getting like hyperbolically more complicated. And so this has had a really traumatic effect on our users who are really comfortable with the way YouTube looks, even though, given the way it started, you know, like people would never want that. You'd be surprised the opposition you have along the way. So the first thing I did here at YouTube that was really noteworthy, I guess, was adding search to the embedded players. And it started off really simple, and nobody was really using it because it was hidden. And so we thought, hey, we'll get a little more ambitious. And we put it on top of the video before anyone ever starts to push the play button. But we only did this on a small sample, like 1% of our users, right? No one complained. We checked Twitter, and this is the best I could find of anyone seeing it on the internet. He didn't have anything bad to say, so we went 100%. And then Michael Arrington didn't like it. Neither did Twitter, or Andy Bao from waxy.org, or anyone. Every once in a while I'd find like a mom or like a father or like, you know, a young kid or whatever is like, hey, yeah, search is really neat. But everybody else is like, no, this is useful, no one wants it. So we went into like damage control mode and tried to fix it up. And that was actually, I think, the lesson that the internet needs to learn. If you guys take anything away, please pay attention to this. The internet changes every day. So what it looked like that night, Wednesday night, it was completely different by 24 hours later. At YouTube, we have a really quick release cycle, so by the end of the next day, it was practically invisible. So, like, you know, try not to get all up in arms, right? Well, if you don't think that actually happens, and you're going to hear this talk and you think most of it's common sense, or the part that isn't common sense is going to be overreacting, please overreact with me. Follow along and like try to like see it from the company side maybe. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I don't like you guys. Everybody loves cats. Okay, so who was around for like the Twitter fixed replies thing? If anybody's like if anyone has an opinion on how this happened and how it panned out, it's probably a negative one, because the popular opinion at the time was that Twitter made a huge mistake. They're alienating their fan base, and nobody understands how the internet works at Twitter, right? But realistically, it only affected 3%, 97% of the user base had no idea really how it would affect them. Furthermore, like this as this diagram illustrates, it's like really complicated. The change that they made was so small, and they made, they just made like a gut kind of like decision, right? That if there is some value in this feature, it's not really surfacing very well because nobody's using it, right? Like this isn't worth hanging on to. So I want to toss this in right here. This is a good opportunity to point out that you should never attribute malice to that which can be adequately explained with stupidity. This applies really well to governments, conspiracy theories, and it certainly applies to Twitter. They were not out to like alienate their fan base. They had the best intentions. So what can you do, right? Well, you don't want to listen to your users, because users lie all the time. There's so much research that shows that users, anything they have to immediately offer as advice, without actually seeing suggestions and interacting with it, and not realizing they're being watched, then most of what they will say is based on their memory. It's bent to like either to imitate what you want to hear or what other people are saying. They want to be a part of the crowd, the part of the energy, right? And they rationalize their actions because, I mean, if the button had been bigger, I would have clicked on it, and like your sign up would have been a lot more successful. Everybody has plans, but they're not thinking about it. They're not sleeping on these problems like you, the application writers are, right? They're just hobbyists. And if you're lucky, they don't spend very much time on your website, right? These days, people don't go to the internet to like hang out forever. I mean, that's what it was in like what 1.0 or whatever you want to call it. But now it's like they need to get there, and if your application is awesome, they'll do what they came for, and they're going to go. They shouldn't think about your website all day. So what you need to do is watch the user activity, maybe lurk, or maybe pay to like have people test the website, your designs. Collect data. And for a website like YouTube, this is obvious. We want to like track what features are used. Like, do you know what the top 5 features are in your web application, like which buttons do they use, you'd be surprised to learn what like the top 5 shortcuts are and buttons that people use in Microsoft Word. It may not be like the same 5 you use. And try not to get too carried away. But I do want you to try and like do some soul searching. See what it would be like to just like ignore the user a little bit more than what they do. The way that Twitter handled it is a great example. They said they're going to replace the features with something better. Right on, guys. Yeah. I definitely invite questions, and certainly afterwards, if you want to hear some of these anecdotes or like duke it out. I love you guys. I mean, like YouTube wouldn't be a site without all of its customers.
Yeah. So the conundrum is like designers, like we have a metaphor we come up with. We use research to find out what the niche and the demographic and the psychographic is. We come up with a metaphor. The other side is test everything, and that's why like Google lost their chief creative director. Testing, they lie, especially in surveys. So how do you get the balance? Where's the balance? We try to test to get demographic, then we go with a metaphor that's authentic to it and has a strong, deep connection.
All right, I'll give one of my sample anecdotes. So one startup spent so much time working on their pipeline, trying to figure out how to convert people, and all they were able to do is get the fractional increments, right? And that's what these A/B tests that drove that dude mad. He did not want to know how to make small changes. So what you need to do is find your vision, right? And this is what Twitter did. They were like, all right, so if only 3% of our users are using this, and they genuinely want to find friends, new people, and overhear conversations, this isn't the right interface because it's totally polluting the important part of our website, which is the one timeline. So you need to find your vision, right? You can do A/B tests all day, figure out how to tweak that reply setting, whether or not it's auto on or auto off, or like just go back to the drawing board. Set goals, and if you don't meet them, start over.